So hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know we have a lot of people registered for this event, which is so wonderful. So very excited about that. I know we'll probably be letting people in over the next few minutes, but we do have a full program today. So I want to go ahead and get started. So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 2022 Step Up Kickoff event. We are so glad to have you here with us today as we launch our 20th exciting summer of Step Up internships and other career opportunities. My name is Ashley Grell, and I am the Step Up Manager of Employer Engagement. I'm delighted to be your event host today. I'm going to turn it right over to Mayor Jacob Frey, who is going to start us off with an official welcome from the City of Minneapolis. So thank you so much for being here, Mayor Frey.
Well, Ashley, thank you so much for all the work that you're doing to engage employers and step up interns to make sure that this program is a huge success. And I mean, welcome to the 20th anniversary of Step Up. I mean, RT, 20 years ago, you all got this started off, and what an extraordinary success. I think one of the hallmarks of a successful program is that it lasts. In government and in nonprofit spaces, we start programs and pilots all the time. Some of them don't work all that well and they fade with time. Others are rejuvenated again and again, and we add to them and they're bolstered further out. This is just such a prime example of that. And with this 20th anniversary since its founding, Step Up has created 30,000 internships for Minneapolis youth. 30,000 internships. I mean, that is an incredible statistic that we all should be rejoicing in. And I'll note, Step Up is not just surviving through this pandemic, but I strongly believe that we're going to come out all the better because young people, employers, they're chomping at the bit right now to bring in a workforce that we know that we need. Every employer out there that I've talked to is trying to hire on talented people. This right now is a mechanism to do this. And each year, Step Up connects nearly 1,400 Minneapolis youth from ages 14 to 21 with the training and the summer internships with over 200 employers. And through those 200 employers, you're bound as a Step Up intern to find something that you're excited about. I've talked to some Step Up interns that, they tried the first thing. It wasn't quite their cup of tea. They tried the second thing and man, they found it. They found their career advancement opportunity, their path, but most importantly, they found their passion. That's one of the biggest things here is you can see what works for you as a young person and what doesn't. And at times your perspectives have changed. And so I just want to give a big thank you to Achieve Minneapolis and partners for 20 years of dedication and commitment to our youth and this Step Up program. Our city in Minneapolis is going to be doubling down on it. And I'm asking our employers right now to double and triple down as well. Now's the time. Reopening our city means reopening it the right way. We've talked about not going back to the old normal, but like blowing by the old normal to see true transformation. And where else does transformation start than with our young people? So big thank you to everyone involved. Let's keep this going. Let's make this happen. And I believe, Ashley, I'll turn it back over to you.
Great. Thank you so much for kicking things off, Mayor Frey. We really appreciate your continued support of Step Up. For anyone who may have joined late, my name is Ashley Grell, and I am the Step Up Manager of Employer Engagement. I'm so delighted to be your event host today. I want to echo Mayor Frey in saying that we are so excited you all could join us virtually to officially launch our 2022 Step Up Employer Recruitment season. We have an incredible lineup of speakers today, including Step Up co-chair Jonathan Weinhagen, who you also know as the president and CEO of the Minneapolis Regional Chamber of Commerce, and Step Up founder and longtime champion RT Rybak, who is president and CEO of the Minneapolis Foundation. Today, we'll also hear from Step Up alums, employers, and business leaders about empowering youth and how we become the community we want to be. We are here today to learn more about Step Up and to build excitement for the summer ahead. We encourage you to engage with our speakers and share your questions and perspectives in the Zoom chat. We also ask that you keep your cameras and microphones off so we can all see and hear our presenters. Also a note that this event is being recorded. I want to start today by sharing our new employer video, which features Step Up champions and supervisors talking directly about their Step Up experiences and why this is such a powerful program for our young people, our employers, and our broader community.
About 10 years ago, Step Up was one of its kind. Today, it is the program that organizations like mine all across the country try to emulate. There are a few years that go by where we don't have a group visiting from another market to learn about Step Up, to learn the origin story, to learn how we operationalized it, and to bring it back to their market to try to recreate it there. So it's really the gold standard with regards to programs of this kind across the country.
I think the value that the Step Up program has added for our department and organization is really, it gave our staff an opportunity to make a connection with the community they serve every day. To see that there are youth right here in our community that are interested in the work we do, and to really make that connection and help him make his dream a reality. So we've created a very unique experience for Abdi in our department, and he has probably observed 10 different roles in his time with us.
Our youth are the next generation. They're our next generation of the workforce. And getting them these soft skills that you start off with, just showing up on time, filling out a time card, things like that, those are skills that make our students employable in the workforce and allow them the kind of time and space to learn more about their interests. This allows them the space to figure out what their interests are, figure out maybe passions and things that they have of interest that they've never thought of before.
The relationships that I've seen formed across generations, often across race and culture and income, has really been the single most powerful part of Step Up. And that is something that is not only about paying you on a paycheck or doing some work for your company. It is absolutely about the fact that years on years on years, we see these relationships paying off. Step Up's a network. It's really about saying that it's an ecosystem of people who are all connected, but we've broken down the barriers of equity and income and geography that so often create disproportionality in the workforce. Building these relationships across these boundaries is the single most important thing we can do.
It's been awesome having Taye, someone from the next generation here. Just the energy and spirit and excitement that she brings to the workplace has been really cool for us. Definitely consider Step Up. It's just been such a great experience for us, getting critical work done, and then just the relationships that we've built with our interns is really huge.
I see that these opportunities are invaluable for the students, for our community, and for the employers. We need to continue to reach out and really inspire youth about the different careers there are. We've got significant talent shortages, and we also want to have employees that represent the communities we serve. I have found that the Step Up students are very diverse, well-educated, and really excited about working in the world of work and working in healthcare in my industry.
If we could double, triple, quadruple the number of high-quality opportunities for our youth, Step Up will be able to fill them. So my call to every business leader every day is, if you hosted one intern today, host 2 or 3 tomorrow. If you hosted 10, host 20. There's not an opportunity to do too much, and the stakes are high, and the future of this region is going to depend on the continued success and growth of a program like Step Up.
You know, for anyone considering bringing in a Step Up intern, I would just say go for it. I mean, the reward of being able to feel like, okay, I'm making a slight, even if it's a small window, but a positive impact on somebody's life and exposing them to what it means to work in a professional environment, to get support and to help them feel like they can be proud of the work that they're contributing to your organization. That feeling is amazing. And so even if you think, oh, I'm too busy maybe, or I have too many other things going on, I would say make that time. It doesn't take that much. Step Up provides so many resources for you. So I would highly, highly recommend anybody just take that leap of faith, go for it, and bring on a step or an internship, because you're going to feel the great benefits of getting that extra help and feel good about the good that you're doing and paying it forward for our world.
Special thanks to our Step Up co-chairs and other employers who shared their stories in our video. As the video mentions, Step Up was launched in 2003, and since then, we have created over 30,000 paid career opportunities for Minneapolis youth, ages 14 to 21, which has led to a more diverse, skilled, and equitable workforce. Oh, sorry. Like, where did that come from? Sorry. All right, which has led to a more diverse, skilled, and equitable workforce. Each year, Step Up creates over 1,400 high-quality experiences thanks to strong partnerships between the City of Minneapolis, AchieveMpls, CareerForce Minneapolis, and Project for Pride in Living. Step Up is one of the country's leading youth employment programs. Our vision is an equitable, inclusive community with sustainable careers and economic justice. We know that the most successful workplaces are the most diverse. We want to see a community where young people feel empowered to dream bigger by building their networks and getting a foot in the door at the best workplaces in the Twin Cities. We want to see these talented youth rise to the top and become the next senior managers, executives, directors, presidents, and CEOs. Today, you will hear from amazing Step Up alums who are taking on new leadership roles in their companies and how Step Up impacted their lives and careers. And that is why we do what we do. Our team works hard toward making this vision a reality every single day. Right now, we are busy recruiting hundreds of talented Minneapolis youth and have over 2,300 applicants, with our intern application closing tomorrow. We train and prepare young people for the workforce through our foundational work readiness training, which is taught by licensed teachers with a curriculum approved by the Minneapolis Chamber of Commerce. We have a one-to-one internship matching process that connects you with the best interns for your positions. And we know that a successful internship requires both intern and supervisor success, which is why we provide supervisor training and resources to support you every step of the way, including job coaching over the summer. And we can't do Step Up without you. Step Up is a partnership of businesses, local schools, governments, and nonprofits that are making a citywide commitment to the future of Minneapolis and our youth. We hope you are inspired today to join us for summer 2022. In just a moment, we'll share our list of outstanding employer partners who have committed to supporting Minneapolis young people this summer by pledging hundreds of jobs. We are working hard to secure as many employers as possible by our deadline of March 31st, and we hope you will be joining us this year. Our team stands ready to get you started and work with you to provide an amazing experience for your team and our youth. We'll be following up with each of you after today's event and look forward to partnering with you for this summer. A special shout out and thank you to these Step Up Level 1 and Level 2 companies that have already committed to providing Step Up internships this summer. I am thrilled to introduce you to our first set of speakers, Zemzem Siyad and Maria Zahhos, who will talk about their Step Up experience at Xcel Energy last summer. Zemzem is a University of Minnesota student who has completed multiple Step Up internships, including Xcel Energy, Hennepin County, Pillsbury United Communities, and the University of Minnesota. Last summer, she received the Step Up Intern of the Year Award for 2021. Her supervisor, Maria, was a first-time Step Up supervisor last summer, and as you'll hear, they had a wonderful Step Up experience together. Well, please welcome Zemzem and Maria.
Hello, my name is Zemzem Siyad. I graduated from Southwest High School and now a freshman at the University of Minnesota, where I'm majoring in computer science and minoring in business management. Before I started Step Up, I knew that I always wanted to do something in the tech field. I wanted a broad major that would be lucrative, in demand, and challenging, and computer science fit the bill. I opted to join Step Up because my avid teacher, Ms. Bunger, told us about it. And after doing some research, I found it to be one of the most greatest programs for high school students to prepare for the real world. Step Up provides internship in high school so students could come into college with prior life work experience. Transitioning to my senior year, I got my most recent and my most impactful internship at Xcel Energy. I worked on a fuel source project during which we researched on how Xcel Energy may transition to coal-free future. I reviewed and closed over 100 annual disclosure forms. I also emailed and tracked response from 33 different staff. Throughout this process, I was able to strengthen my project management, teamwork, email, and communication skills. During my internship, I met with many colleagues and was supervised by Maria, who's here with us today.
Hi, everyone. I am Maria Zahhos. I'm a compliance and ethics analyst with Xcel Energy. And this was my first year, 2021 was my first year participating in the Step Up program and my first time supervising an intern. However, Xcel Energy has been employing high school interns through Step Up since their founding in 2003. I wanted to participate in the program because I saw an incredible opportunity to support someone else in navigating a professional environment and preparing for college. Also, because I started as a college intern at the company almost 5 years ago, I know from firsthand experience how impactful mentorship and simply having someone believe in you is to personal growth and development. Last summer presented a unique challenge with teaching and working in a virtual environment. But Zemzem rose to the occasion. She was quick to learn how to use the computer, follow virtual instructions, and I could easily trust that she would get her work done on her own. As Zemzem mentioned, as a compliance and ethics intern, one of her key responsibilities was reviewing conflict of interest disclosure forms submitted by employees across the company. She quickly learned our case management system and closed over 100 forms, ultimately helping our team with our efforts to ensure business is conducted in accordance with our code of conduct and values. She also had opportunities to learn more about the energy industry through a project where she partnered with another step-up intern at the company to create a presentation on a particular energy source. Over the course of her internship, she completed 8 informational interviews with colleagues across the company. I always enjoy getting the recap on what she learned from these meetings, as it was very clear how curious she was to learn about different areas of the business. During Zemzem's time with us, she brought a fresh perspective and excelled at the projects that were given to her.
Thank you, Maria. In the Step Up program, each internship taught me something new. I learned how to work with children and be teacher assistant during my first internship at Pillsbury. I learned how to operate independently in the office during my second internship at the University of Minnesota. My third internship at Hennepin County taught me how to work from home and evaluate return absentee ballot to ensure they met the legal requirement for counting. My favorite part about interning for Step Up was getting to experience different aspects of the work life and seeing how they differed. Because I'm speaking from personal perspective, I am now secured and certain what I want my work lifestyle to be. After finishing my degree, I intend to work as a software engineer, data analyst, or data scientist for a couple of years before enrolling to law school to pursue a career as a patent lawyer. I believe it is important for the Twin Cities companies to engage in a program like Step Up because the program allows companies to invest in their future development while also allowing them to uncover new talent and future leaders. The Step Up program is quite beneficial in assisting students. A Step Up because the program allows companies to invest in their future developing while also allow them to uncover new talent in the future. The Step Up program is quite beneficial in assisting students. Step Up is an opportunity for the young youth to go out and experience the real life world. It not only allows them to learn about the real life world, but it also express them to a new environment. It teaches you at a young age about time management, which I needed. It also teaches students about integrity, financial responsibility, and most importantly, meeting and building connections with others while growing.
So one of my favorite parts of the internship was learning about Zemzem's goals and variety of interests. She is very driven and inquisitive, and I'm genuinely excited for what her future has in store. She demonstrated so much growth in teachable and measurable abilities, and also in more soft skills such as verbal and written communication. Internships build such valuable professional and personal skills. They teach young people how to advocate for themselves, and they help students to feel confident in who they are and how they show up in the workplace. At Xcel Energy, we value investing in the communities that we serve, work, and live in. The Step Up program allows employers such a unique chance to connect with the immense talent in our community and connect with them at such a formative and important time in their lives. The program is truly a win-win for everyone. Interns help complete valuable work tasks for companies, and employers are able to help develop the next generation of leaders. So I hope that our testimonial inspires others to invest in the growth and empowerment of our youth. So thank you so much, Ashley, for inviting us to speak today.
Thank you so much for sharing your Step Up experience, Zemzem and Maria. Zemzem's internship pathway is a great example of how our Step Up interns can start their careers with a level 1 internship and then continue building on those key work skills through level 2 internships. It is so incredible to see that list of companies already on your resume, Zemzem. Next, I am so excited to introduce today's panel discussion facilitator, Elizabeth Nelson. Elizabeth is the Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion at Thompson Reuters and is on the Achieve Minneapolis Board of Directors. Prior to joining Thompson Reuters, Elizabeth worked for the state of Minnesota, where she helped to grow the number of Step Up interns across state agencies. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you so much, Ashley. And I'm really excited to be joining all of you today, but also with an incredible group of panelists as well. So let me introduce you to who else will be joining me for the conversation. First, Jonathan Weinhagen, President and CEO of the Minneapolis Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber believes that the business community thrives when we all work together to build strong communities and partnerships. This includes ensuring access and opportunity for all. The Chamber's participated in Step Up since 2004 and has provided 24 Step Up internships. Joining us as well is Dr. Nerita Hughes, the Dean of Business, Technology, Career, and Workforce Development at North Hennepin Community College. She's the college's first African-American dean, and I also have the pleasure of serving alongside Dr. Hughes on the Board of Directors for Achieve Minneapolis. Joining us as well is Dr. Julia Joseph-Di Caprio, Senior Vice President and Medical Officer at UCare. She was recognized in the Minneapolis-St. Paul Business Journal in 2021 as the Women in Business Award recipient and the University of Minnesota School Public Health Alumni Award of Merit. UCare has participated in Step Up since 2009, providing 102 Step Up internships. And last but not least, Lindsay Harris is here with us as well, Senior Manager of Talent Acquisition, Emerging Talent at Best Buy. She's also our 2022 Step Up Outstanding Alum and was a Step Up intern in 2004. And Best Buy, since 2005, has taken on 150 interns. Pretty incredible. But I'd love to just jump into the conversation because there's so much to talk about with all of you. And Jonathan, I'd love to start with you first. When you think of our businesses here in the Twin Cities local community, what do you see as the role of business in building our workforce and addressing disparities? And building on that, what works from your perspective and when we think about businesses in this space?
Yeah, thanks, Elizabeth. Great to be here with all of you. I'd start by thanking Ashley for helping pull this together and the entire Step Up team, as well as everybody who's taken the time to participate today. I'm along with the City of Minneapolis and Achieve Minneapolis, who are just the backbone of Step Up and making sure that this program continues to be a success. A big question there with regards to the business community's role, mission critical on both sides of the ledger, from my estimation. The business community demands workforce. Many of the employers on this call are dealing with very acute challenges with regards to attracting and retaining talent, unprecedentedly low unemployment, dynamics of the pandemic, of retirement, lots of different pressures that are creating a space where our economic competitiveness relies on a robust workforce and the ability for employers to attract and retain the talent that they need. There's also this critical aspect of responsibility that employers play in the disparities that you talked about. We know that in our marketplace, we boast some of the worst economic disparities, some of the worst racial disparities. I mean, that's something that this program has been talking about and working to address since its inception, something that continues to be a cornerstone and an opportunity for the work moving forward. As I look at these stories like Zemzem, this is the future. I mean, this has been the future. You look back 20 years and employers who were hosting a step-up intern are likely employing that intern 20 years later, likely in a management or a leadership type position. So we think about the opportunity of a program like this as it connects to bridging for disparities, as it connects to bolstering job creation and opportunity. It's all interconnected.
Yeah, that's so true. The impact on the wider ecosystem and that long-term impact is pretty incredible when you think about it in that way. Jonathan, thanks for sharing. Dr. Hughes, I'd love to turn it over to you next, right? And thinking about that ecosystem as well, what's happening at the high school and college levels to ensure that our young people are excited about future careers and prepared to enter the workforce?
No, thank you, Elizabeth. And I do want to echo, something that Jonathan said, just to kind of thank Ashley and the entire Step Up team and all of you for joining, especially during the lunch hour. So, so what I can tell you that high schools and colleges, what's going on is really, if you've heard of career academies, and it really is, how do you create different industry kind of career chains, if you will, to kind of introduce our young people, I don't want to say kids, our young folks into such areas as business, manufacturing, healthcare, and some of the other, aspects of it. So working alongside our K-12 system, from a college perspective, we do a lot with our concurrent enrollment. So that's dual enrollment, where we have trained high school teachers that are teaching high school curriculum, but you're also, sharing the pathway that they can go down, whether it's computer science that Zemzem talked about, or some of the other areas as well, but really talking about what do you need to prepare for right now to be prepared for the future. And so looking at the high growth in demand industries is really what the colleges are doing. But in addition to that, they're also talking about real world application. So it's not just the pedagogical practices, but it's also how are you, coupling that with real world application. And so if you have an interest in math, then what are you doing as far as going into the STEM fields? If you have an interest where you want to do more hands-on work, then are we talking about manufacturing? Are we talking about welding or some of those other aspects? So that's really what the colleges are doing, is introducing some of those arenas that they probably would not have thought about.
That's so true, right? I always think about that. You don't know what you don't know. And that's been one of the most important reflections that I've had with working with young people as well, is that helping demystify what does that mean and where can you take those passions and interests in really concrete ways and building that pathway forward. It's really powerful. Dr. Joseph-Di Caprio, I'd love to come to you next and thinking about how you're fostering leadership qualities within your team. How can we also foster those leadership qualities in young people? And can you give us some specific examples from the lens of UCare and how you've approached this with Step Up interns?
Sure, thanks so much, Elizabeth. It's so good to be here with all of you. I'm a pediatrician, my specialty is adolescent medicine, and over the years, I've had many patients who have been a part of Step Up, so I'm so thankful to this organization. Thank you, Ashley, and everyone for organizing this panel. Also, I spent most of my career at Hennepin County Medical Center, now Hennepin Healthcare System, and we had Step Up interns there, and here at UCare, we've had Step Up interns all the time I've been here, and in fact, we have 12, Ashley told me 12, who will be joining us this summer, so I'm really excited about that. When I think about leadership, I think of service, and I think that everyone has the ability to serve. And everyone, therefore, is a leader, whether they're a leader with their family, with their communities, with their friends, in their organization. So what I do when fostering leadership is to look for people who are collaborative, who are interested in service to others and who lead with and come with humility. And I feel that my job is to remove the barriers that they might face to being able to be collaborative, to lead with humility and to be in service. That's how I foster leadership in my team. And what I recommend to young people is to recognize that all of you are leaders. I was in a panel a few months back and someone said that leaders are made. No, leaders are born. And I thought, well, that might apply perhaps to some people if they have a particular view on what a leader is. But I think that's a really narrow lens of what leadership means. And oftentimes when people say that leaders are born, it's because they're not viewing leadership as widely as it could be. And in fact, that perspective is so exclusionary of so many groups. So I think that there's leadership in everyone. And what I ask young people to do and what I foster in the young people that I mentor is that perspective that you are a leader. And what do you need so that you can be as effective as possible, whether in service to your family, your community, in your workplace, because all of you are leaders.
Gosh, that's so empowering and so true as well. I think that I love how you're approaching leadership from such a broad lens, because I think then that provides so much more access to opportunities, so much more empowerment to explore and make an impact. And in your, as you mentioned, to be able to collaborate to make a difference. So thank you for sharing that. Lindsay, I know you bring a really unique perspective, both in helping to bring to life the Step Up internship program at Best Buy, but as a former alum yourself. So I'd love to talk about what this looks like a bit at Best Buy. How is Best Buy investing in the Step Up program? And how has this made an impact in the work across your organization?
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, we've supported over 150 internships, and truth be told, I did not know that number actually, since I've only been with Best Buy for about 4 years. But I think that's a significant investment, and the best part about my job is that I get to create opportunities, and I get to double down on creating different roles for students who look like me and are from the community that I grew up in. So it's truly, I would say, a pleasure to partner with Ashley and Jeremiah and team. Had you told me in 2004 that I would be here in 2022, I wouldn't have believed it. So it's amazing that the organization has lasted this long and continues to serve Minneapolis. But I think there's more room to grow. And if you ask anyone from the Best Buy team, I'm anything but direct in asking the question of, can we have more? Can we double? Can we triple? What do we have budget for? And who else can we be helping in our community? So it's been a really exciting time with Best Buy. And I'm just very thankful that my leaders allow me to do what I love to do. And that's creating opportunities for students.
I'm really curious as well, has your experience participating as a Step Up intern changed in how you approach with working with the program today?
Oh gosh, I think that I give a unique perspective in that I was a Step Up, I say kid because I was a kid then. It's a long time ago, not to date myself, but also now running all of our community partnership programs. So taking it from the lens of, I was that student who came in, I had no prior experience outside of school, and just being able to I don't know, I think empathize with the students on one end, but also being in the corporate space for the last 15 years and knowing what it takes to be a leader and be a really good supervisor, and knowing that every day isn't easy. And like you said before, you don't know what you don't know, and that goes on both ends. So I think really taking both perspectives, and I sometimes get to be that middleman of, hey, I've been there, I can empathize with you as a supervisor, but also as a student, this is where they're coming from, and making sure that we're making really good matches and having impactful internships for our students over the summer.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Lindsay.
Yes.
Jonathan, can I come back over to you? Because we've heard a little bit around the importance of like the why and the impact that it's making in organizations, but I'd love to hear from you. what should businesses be thinking about as we prepare to bring in the next generation of workers? As you're asked, folks have been asked to double down, triple down, continue to bring in more step-up interns. How can businesses be best preparing to be able to provide a culture and a workspace and an environment that really helps on both ends and is providing an impact both for the employers and for the young people?
That's a great question. I'd offer a couple of thoughts on it. First and foremost, I think every company, every organization is grappling with what the future looks like. We believe that the future is flexible, and that's far beyond a tagline. Every single day I'm talking to employers and leaders who are thinking about bringing people back into the office, creating that flexibility, whether it's 1, 2, or 3 days or 5 days a week. And as they think about bringing young people in through these opportunities, that's something to incorporate in their planning. How do we make sure that the richness of the experience is maintained, and the preparation for the future, if we think about a hybrid model being something that will likely to some extent never go away, there's a huge opportunity here to leverage this program into what the future of work looks like. I think a lot about the benefit that having these interns in a work environment has. Our organization, as you heard, has always hosted a step-up intern, and the richness of that. I often argue that we may be getting as much or more than the intern is as an organization. Some of that is being able to listen and learn from these young people. They are the future workforce. So if you do an appropriate job of engaging and really digging in and listening, you can change your practices. You can almost future-proof how your company is going to operate, while at the same time providing an incredible opportunity and resource to young people. So my advice is, as you think about planning for return to office, as you think about this, mid-pandemic, end pandemic, wherever you want to think we are with the pandemic, wrap this up into it, hold on to it, lean into it, and think about how do you leverage this into the future of your organization and the culture that you want to have.
Yeah, that's so important. We talk a lot at Thompson Reuters about the future of work, and more so we're saying the futures of work, right? And thinking through different possibilities in that space, because to your point, it's flexible and it's being created in the moment as we go through it oftentimes. Dr. Hughes, I'm really curious, Jonathan just mentioned, how businesses and that ecosystem is responding to the evolving workplace and demands and things like hybrid. How is higher education responding to that as well? I'm just curious.
So we're kind of doing the same thing. We're doing the hybrid model. Yes, we have face-to-face classes, but we also have online. But I think the biggest thing that we have noticed when it comes down to how do we engage our students, and then how do we really, talk about the workforce and the importance of how this degree may get them to the next level, we do make ourselves available and say, yes, you can come in. Of course, we're practicing safety precautions, but being able to have that one-on-one, face-to-face interactivity with the student, we have found has been way more productive versus, doing what we're doing now, on a Zoom call, but we're also preparing them to say, if we want to prepare them for an interview that may happen this way, then we're taking the calls this way. So that they understand what it means when you're, doing an interview. Are you looking, down at the person? Are you looking directly into the screen so it looks like you're having eye-to-eye contact? We record the sessions so that they really understand what they're saying. Are they saying too many oh, are they, speaking in that, context? Are they answering the question? That's the key, is when we are providing them, mock interviewing opportunities. Are they actually answering the question, or are they talking around the question? So in higher ed, we're doing a lot of that coaching and preparing them for what I like to call power skills, which we know as soft skills. So how do we make sure that they are bringing out those interpersonal skills in the interview, on, their potential job? And also the main thing is in the classroom. So what are you doing in the classroom that potentially can prepare you for when you get out there into the workforce?
I love that. And it's nice to hear that, you're building in those connection points to build that self-exploration and that, perception of self, because that's so hard sometimes when you aren't, to your point, when you're not physically in person, you don't get as many feedback cues or opportunities to provide that candid feedback. That's really incredible. Dr. Joseph-Di Caprio, I'm really curious in what keeps you motivated and how do you motivate others, particularly in an industry that's been hit hard by the pandemic? And what might that lens look like for young people or employers who are struggling with the same?
Well, thanks for that question, Elizabeth. Of course, I realized that I didn't answer part of the previous question you asked me, which is what UCare is doing. So I'll answer both of them now.
Perfect.
You know, specifically to what UCare does to foster leadership or for the young people that we mentor, is we really demonstrate how collaborative we are, and we also involve them in our mission-driven culture. You know, what UCare has is really a supportive, collaborative environment. And that's why we're so successful of a company. And that's how we, you know, really foster and support, foster leadership and support the young people that we serve. So for our step-up interns, they're involved in meetings. And sometimes they'll ask, what do you do in meetings? I can't explain it, but I can show you it. So they'll be involved in meetings and they'll watch and be able to see how we work together. Now, to your second question about what keeps me motivated, I think it's really important after a really tough 2 years, and it's tough, a lot of this work even before then, is to make sure that folks are rested and that they have balance in their life, because then you're truly able to address the challenges that you might face. And so the other thing that keeps me motivated is that this is such important work that's not solvable in a short period of time when we're thinking about things like how do we expand what leadership looks like? How do, in terms of who are leaders, how do we encourage folks who maybe historically have not had opportunities? This is such important work that spans years, and it's really important to continue that work. And that's actually what keeps me motivated. And the other thing I think about is, why am I so special that I shouldn't do the hard work to assist others, to be a model to others, and to learn from others? So those are some of the things that I think about and that keep me motivated.
And I love your focus on wellness and well-being. I think that's so important. And I love that conversations in that space have really rose to the occasion in the last 2 years, something we always haven't talked about in the workplace, or how we've talked about supporting people overall and that people first mentality. And it's so powerful. Thank you. Okay, so we've got about 6 minutes together as a panel, and I've got 2 kind of meaty questions that I want to throw at this group. And starting with you, Lindsay, we've got a lot of employers that are on the line, some who are actively committed in bringing on step-up interns, some we're encouraging to think about how can you do more in this space, and others who might be on the fence. And particularly to that last group, Lindsay, what might you say to a company on the line today that might be on the fence about participating in step-up?
Oh gosh, and I would say take a chance, and it's a good chance. And these students are amazing. You have no idea how much potential you will be able to unlock by giving someone an opportunity. It is life-changing. It was for me. And to give a student just a foot in the door can change their career path, their course, what they want to do. You have the opportunity to put your stamp on something, and something really, really concrete as giving back to our community that we serve here in the Twin Cities. And so I say, do it wholeheartedly. It is fun. It takes work. As Dr. Julia said, no one is above it, but this is our future workforce. So it's either we put in the time now or we regret it later. And I personally, I don't want to be working in another, 50 years, and I want to develop the next set of leaders and have them employ me and give back, to the senior citizens. Hopefully I get there.
I love that. Jonathan, we heard a little bit about your rally cry to businesses in the video. Tell me a little bit more. What would you say to employers, and particularly those that might be thinking about increasing or deepening their participation?
Well, so I think 2 things. One, I've got most of your phone numbers, so I'll be following up. I appreciate you being on the call. You'll be hearing from me. I think, more importantly, business leaders take risks every day. And I think the neat thing about Step Up is this isn't even a calculated risk. We've got 20 years of proven results. When you think about, doubling down, for example, if you had a great result last year, double that, triple that result. If you're thinking about it, if you're on the fence, as you previously asked, this is a pretty safe bet. So that would be my message to the employers who are on the line.
Good points. Okay, round robin to everyone on the line, panelists. As we think about Step Up's vision, it's really groundly and squarely focused on equitable, inclusive community with sustainable careers and economic justice. What's it going to take for our community to get there? Jonathan, I see you on the screen. Over to you first.
All of us. It's going to take every single one of us leaning in and committing to it in a way we've never done before. And as we emerge from this pandemic, as we head into the future, we need to link arms and do this together.
Dr. Hughes, how about you?
I would concur. It's going to take each one teach one. I mean, we all have to be in this together. I'm going to use a word, radical imagination. So in reference to what Lindsay said, if you have not had the honor, and I say honor, to host a Step Up intern, here's the time to do it. The other piece that I will say too is several organizations are looking at diversifying. Here's an opportunity for you to diversify your workplace, but then also open up your eyes to equitable practices. So everybody needs to lean in, dig in, and have radical imagination.
I love that, radical imagination. I'm writing that down in a Post-it, putting it on my wall in front of me. Lindsay, how about you?
Right. I mean, how do you follow up radical imagination? I always say, we need to change the way we think and we hire. What happened 20 years ago, I don't want to happen 20 years in the future. So we are all in this together. We need to continue to push the envelope of what hiring looks like and who we hire and when we hire, and think for the future and think about tomorrow.
Absolutely. And last but not least, Dr. Joseph-Di Caprio.
Well, thanks, Elizabeth. I was going to say innovative, but I prefer radical imagination. I'm going to steal that phrase too. I think it requires all of us to demand that folks think about leadership differently. I think we've had lazy thinking over the years that leaders were certain people and it was an exclusive group. But I think we must require, I know we are to require that all of us, particularly those who are in leadership positions and executive leadership positions, see leadership differently and see it as a service to others, and that everyone should have the opportunity to be in service to others.
Wow, thank you all. I could have this conversation for a well amount of time, and hopefully we can continue the conversation thereafter. It's been a pleasure being with you all this afternoon. And Ashley, I'd love to turn it over to you to continue to move us through the program. But thank you so much. And thank you all, Julia, Nerita, Joseph, and Lindsay, for being part of this.
Thank you so much for facilitating today's discussion, Elizabeth, and thanks again to our fantastic panelists for sharing their experiences. Next, I want to introduce Step Up founder and co-chair RT Rybak, former mayor of Minneapolis and currently the president and CEO of the Minneapolis Foundation. Thanks so much for being here, RT.
Thanks, it's great to be here. What a great panel. I love that. You really brought a lot to it. And Elizabeth, you were a really great moderator. And I happen to know there's a studio in the ground floor of Thompson Reuters buildings. I think we should have Step Up Live all summer with you featuring young people, because great job. My job is the lucky job of being able to talk about the alumni of the year. And when you think about the alumni of Step Up over 20 years, I want you to think about that number Mayor Frey and a couple others referenced. 30,000 young people have gone through this. So I remember back a number of years ago when we hit 20,000, I said, wow, you could take Target Center and completely fill Target Center with every graduate of Step Up, and there would be overflowing onto First Avenue. So that was 20,000. Okay, now we have 30,000. Okay. an incredibly popular concert in US Bank Stadium. And I am going to, whether I'm in a wheelchair or not, be in here when we're able to say we've exceeded the capacity of US Bank Stadium. But I tried to figure out 30,000. And we did some math a few years back. We realized that 30,000, if you took every step up graduate, by the way, we don't intend to do this to these poor young people, and stood them shoulder on top of each other's shoulders and stacked them up one by one, you would get to the very top of the IDS center. Think about that. 7 times. Okay, 30,000 is a whole lot of young people. So where are they? Well, that's why we've started Connext in partnership with Greater MSP. It's an alumni association. Elizabeth's been pivotal to that. And it's really about helping to find them. But I run into these alums all the time. A few months ago, I'm having dinner with a really great new leader. He's in his mid-30s. He comes from Liberia. His family came here. He started a business. He's doing great things. You'll see him on the news navigating really tough issues as the mayor of Brooklyn Center. When I was talking to Mike Elliott and hearing about how he got his whole start in all this work, I said, how did you really get started in believing you could do this? And he looked across the table and said to me, I was in Step Up. I had the hugest lump in my throat as I'm looking for a person out to become the next mayor, but it's the same lump in my throat I get so often going around the community and seeing who these alums are. And it's the exact same lump in my throat I got a few minutes ago when I heard some of the great answers that were given by a great alum of Step Up, Lindsay Harris, who is this year's Alum of the Year for Step Up. Started as an intern in 2004. And now what we know about her, I think, is that she would not be the type to skip the graduation. So let's assume you went to the graduation, okay? Hands up. If you did, then you would have heard what I've said to every single graduating class, which is that you have been given a gift, and that gift means you have a responsibility. And that responsibility is go out in the world and figure out how to hold an arm, reach back and pull someone up on the next ladder. That's your obligation. So apparently you were listening, because you went into Best Buy, you helped break down the door there, you got 5 this summer, you just an incredible evangelist list. So on behalf of all of us at Step Up, congratulations, you are the alumni of the year. And like the Academy Awards, you can give an acceptance speech.
Thank you so much, RT. As I said earlier, I had no idea in 2004 when my career counselor at Southwest, like I said, go Lakers, and any other Lakers in the house, brought me in and said, hey, Lindsay, we have an opportunity for you. And I said, okay, cool. What's going on? She's like, do you want a job? I'm like, yes. My parents said I should get one of those to help pay for college. And she gave me the rundown, and they're like, yeah, they're going to interview you just over the phone, and you're going to go. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I mean, it was an amazing experience. I interned at GMAC ResCap. It is a company that no longer exists, but it was a General Motors acceptance company, residential funding corporation. So I got my first step into the corporate world in finance, and it was amazing. I had the best summer ever. I remember the first day that I was on their campus, and my boss took me to a fancy lunch at Kincaid's, and I was like, I've made it. This is what adults do. Like, is this what my mom does? When she goes on business lunches, and I felt really snazzy. And I learned soft skills and hard skills. I attended meetings, I shadowed, I took notes, and I got a lot of great computer and technology skills. And that internship opened up the doors for me, and I did well in it. I did graduate, and they continued to hire me back every summer and on every winter break. And I was like, I've got it made. I already have a job. I've pipelined my future. And to date myself again, I graduated in 2008 during the recession, and the company was sold, and I didn't have an opportunity to go back there for a full-time job after I graduated. And I was really sad. I was really sad that I hadn't taken better chances, better networking opportunities in that role. But with GMAC on my resume and Step Up, Wells Fargo found me. And that's how I got my first job at Wells Fargo. And I've been in the corporate space ever since. And something that Step Up taught me was to take advantage of the people that you meet, to really hone in on all of your skills and to give back. And I didn't always want to be in finance. Step Up was the foot in the door that I needed to get another job. But my true passion was ignited by working with students, and specifically marginalized students who look like me, who didn't have parents who were CEOs, who didn't go to college. And for me to be that mentor, to be that person to take a chance on someone. And so I'm truly honored. And as I said, it's been a career-making type of opportunity being at Best Buy and being able to lead the emerging talent team and all the internships that we provide, whether it be high school or college or graduate level. But it came full circle when I knew that we had partnered with Step Up. And so being able to be a former intern, an alum, and now being able to create that opportunity for the next generation is life-changing. And I hope I continue to thrive in this space, to double down on our opportunities with Step Up, and hope that, you know, my leaders at Best Buy continue to believe in me and push me even further to do more for our communities. So thank you again so much. And seeing the news, back to you, RT.
All right. Well, thank you, Lindsay. And as I finish this up and we'll get you out of here at 1 o'clock, I just want to say in the 20 years of this program, a lot has been said about it. But I want to tell you one thing we have never said. Do this to be nice to these poor kids in this program. We have never talked about this as a charity case, and we're never going to. It happens to be an incredibly nice thing to do for a kid. But we have sold this program from an asset-based frame because Lindsay just demonstrated what we know, that this is about you as an employer getting something for your certainly for your company, but also for this community. Couple of key points. This is about getting work done. We don't want them to come in and do make work. Make them do work and they will deliver, and that's been proven over and over again. This is about building a talent pipeline. How many times do people say, where are we going to find the workers? How do we find a diverse pool of workers? 30,000, okay, build more, okay? We know that works. And the final point is, how many of you are working on the single biggest issue in this community, which is the extraordinary equity gaps in this community? DEI workshops are great, all these other things are great, but nothing's better than bringing in a young person with the cultural fluency that they have more of than your employee base probably does, to begin to show not the cartoon of what we hear about our young people, but the reality and the incredible reality. That's the best equity workshop you can have. So just as we finish, I want you to think about, as employers, that lump in your throat that so many of you have gotten. You're here because you believe in this, but what we really need to do right now is to make sure that you get others involved too. Thank you so much for joining us.
Awesome. Yes, thank you all for joining us today. We hope you have a great rest of your day. And thanks again to all of our wonderful speakers. We'll be in touch.